As part of parallel accounting, we discussed the ledger approach and what is the difference between ECC and S4. In S4, we have two types of ledgers. One is standard and one is extension ledger. And the standard ledger again two types. One is a leading and one is a non-leading ledger. Right? For extension ledger, there must be a underlying ledger or we can say base ledger. That base ledger can be a standard ledger and only manual postings are allowed. The fiscal year variant and currency must be same for extension ledger, same like it's a base ledger. Okay, so but for non-leading ledgers, we can maintain different settings. So let's put how many ledgers we need and that we can create in the system. Okay. What is the ledger type and what is the ledger and accounting principle? Fiscal year variant and then posting period variant. For example, assume you have to fulfill the local reporting or statutory reporting, or if it is in India, as per Companies Act, we need to prepare the financial statement and fulfill. Now our company code, we created IN10. Maybe future we will create some more company codes. For these company codes, we need to prepare at end of the year, as per Companies Act, the financial statements, the P&L account and balance sheet I need to prepare. So for this, we need to create accounting principle. For example, we create with accounting principle name, any name you can give. For example, P001 we will create. Accounting principle is a Companies Act. And we give an fiscal year variant something like F9 or something, which is April to March. And posting period variant, whatever we given, we can see in the system. The ledger type, which ledger we need to use. This is the standard ledger and 0L. So by default, SAP has created and which is a leading ledger. Right? So that ledger we will use, assume, or maybe we will dedicate to take financial statements as per Companies Act from 0L ledger. For example, if you want report from as per IFRS, for that whatever the adjustment postings we need to do, that I want to do in 0L ledger, because 0L ledger I want to use for Companies Act. The accounting principle we will create as a P001, and that P001 we need to assign to the ledger 0L. And here we are using fiscal year variant April to March. And let's see what is the posting period variant we are using. Same posting period variant we are using IN10. And next, we need to prepare financial statement as per tax reporting or Indian as per Tax Act. For this, you need to create a different accounting principle. If you want, you can maintain different fiscal year variant, but this also we need to submit April to March only, that I am putting April to March. And posting period variant, if you want, you can maintain different, or if you want, you can maintain same. I am doing the same one. Now, here the question is, do we need to go for standard ledger? That means, do we need to go for non-leading ledger? Or do you want to go for extension ledger? What we told, if you create an extension ledger, so whenever we are posting documents without specifying any ledger, then system will not update in the extension ledger. Only the ledger specific postings, that only will be updated in extension ledger. Almost so much memory we can save in the database, or no need to post the duplication of data redundancy. If that is the case, you need to go for extension ledger. But here we need to keep in mind that for extension ledger, automatic postings are not allowed. Only manual postings are allowed. For example, you are doing foreign currency valuation, the entry will be posted by the system automatically, not by the user. That is not posted. You are posting some goods movements or automatic movements, that will not be posted. You are doing depreciation calculation, automatically journal entries are posted by the system, that cannot be posted to the extension ledger. So for 0L ledger, whatever depreciation calculated and posted, the same entry I want to use for this reporting also, then it is fine. Or maybe depreciation I posted here 500 rupees, but actually I want 450. That adjustment 50 rupees will be posted manually entry. Then you can go for extension ledger. But here, whenever I am preparing as per Companies Act, I need to calculate depreciation as per straight line method, maybe 10%. Whenever I need to prepare the financial statement as per Indian Taxation Act, then I need to calculate depreciation as per written down value method, and it is a 9%. So here there is a difference depreciation I need to follow, here there is a depreciation I need to follow. Later, once we go for asset accounting, this I am creating depreciation area 01, and this I am creating depreciation area 02. In depreciation area 02, once I calculated return on value 9%, I don't want to post to the GLs. I don't want to post to the general ledger accounting. Then it is fine. But I need to post to the GLs. The straight line method 10% I am posting to different GLs. For example, GL account 100 to 03. Even though I am following ledger approach, I will create one separate GL account number for only India Taxation Act purpose. So whenever I am assigning an A090 transaction code, I will tell to the system, post this depreciation amount, this one, for example, 500 rupees depreciation, and 9% depreciation, I will ask the system 450 to post to a different GL account to 33 GL. And whenever system is posting this one, I can tell to the system that this need to be posted into the ledger, this one, which I created for Indian Taxation Act. Then whenever I pull report from 0L ledger, I will get amount 500 through this GL. Whenever I want to pull P&L account and balance sheet from this ledger, I will get only 450 through this GL, which is posted to a different ledger. So if you want to post depreciation amounts differently to the GL accounts, then in that case, extension ledger will not be compatible for you. So you need to go for extension ledger. So my requirement is, in asset accounting, I need to maintain different depreciation percentages, and that I need to post to the GL accounts. That's why we will go for here standard ledger, that is non-leading ledger, for example L1. And in the same way, I need to go for IFRS reporting. This may be January to December. I can use different fiscal year variant. And different posting period variant I can use here. For example, IN11 input. An accounting principle will create P003. And for IFRS also, I want to post a different depreciation through different depreciation area. Then in that case, again, we need to use standard ledger, for example L2. And the next one is group reporting or management reporting. So this is not as per the any specific gap outside generally accepted accounting principle. This is the group reporting internally which you want for all your company codes in the corporate group. For this which fiscal year variant, generally the corporate group is existed in which country, the main owner, the board of director belong to which country. In that country generally they expect management reporting. If it is Indian company, then as per April to March. If it is abroad company, maybe January to December. Right, here again I am putting in our case, for example, April to March. And the posting period variant, if you want, you can use same, or it may be different. And for this, the accounting principle, you can create it as a P004. And for management reporting, now I don't want to post any specific depreciation with respect to asset accounting. Whatever is used, maybe Companies Act, do you want to use management reporting? Or maybe Indian Taxation Act, whatever is followed that you want to use, or as per IFRS, whatever you calculated and posted that you want to use. So then in that case, I don't want any automatic posting, then you can go for extension ledger. Maybe for example, we'll put E1. And which is near, which you want to follow. For example, I want to follow the depreciation which is calculated for IFRS. The same I would like to use for management reporting also. Then in that case, what we can do, on top of the ledger L2, we can create extension ledger. So we can take base ledger as a L2. No. For management reporting, I want to use the depreciation which is used for Companies Act. This is near to me, or approximately this I need to follow. Then in that case, the extension ledger, for that you can use base ledger as a 0L ledger. That means on top of 0L ledger, you can extend one more ledger or one more valuation view. You can staple one more valuation view on 0L ledger. So that we can see what is the business requirement exactly. So then based on that, you can decide what should be the my base ledger, whether I need to take 0L or L1 or L2. Okay. So in this way, we need to see the fiscal year variant and also any automatic postings do you want to post into a particular ledger. Then in that case, you need to go for standard ledger and that is the non-leading ledger. If I don't have the type of requirement, then yes, you can go for extension ledger. Okay. So accordingly, we will create in the system for different accounting principles to fulfill parallel accounting. This many ledgers we will create in the system. And further, if we need any ledger for a different requirement, we can create at any point of time. It's not a stopping point. For example, the currency and valuation profile. Once we activated, we cannot change it. Once the data is posted, we cannot change it. Like that, for example, I created this many ledgers and I posted transaction data. Later, as per the new requirement, for another requirement, can I go and create a new ledger or not? You can create ledger at any point of time. That is effective from that point. That means previous posting will not available in that ledger, but the new postings from that date effective, the new postings will be updated in the new ledger. First step, what we can do, we can create the accounting principles. Okay, so now whatever we decided that we need to create in the system as a accounting principle. This accounting principle is just to identify which ledger is used for which purpose. It doesn't carry any controls. It doesn't have its own any functionalities to on and off at this accounting principle level. Okay, so in the financial accounting global settings under ledgers as part of parallel accounting, we can create accounting principles. Click on new entries button and see only the accounting principle and we are giving the description. It doesn't have any controls. That's what we are saying. For example, any checkbox, any radio button. So nothing like that. Just to identify this thing at ledger level in the system. Okay, the same we can do. And then save it. Next, we need to create the ledgers. Define settings for ledgers and currency types. For this, you can use directly T code also FINSC underscore ledger. Normally, SAP recommends you need to go in a sequence. First step, currency types, that is already we did. Then global currency conversion settings, that already we did. Currency conversion settings for the company code, which you want to use in your company code, which are at company code specific, that we used. The next we need to go for ledger. Here, 0L ledger is already created by the standard SAP, which is a leading ledger. There must be only one leading ledger in the client, so that we are aware. And all company codes by default are assigned to your leading ledger. And the leading ledger will receive settings from your company code. What will be the first currency? What should be the posting period variant? What will be the fiscal year variant? If you create one more company code, for example, US10, then the first currency will become USD. The fiscal year variant will become January to December. But for IN10, it is April to March. So it's not a company code specific, it's not a ledger specific. It's a ledger plus company code combination. Right. So if you go to company code specific, here you can see for 0L, for company code IN10, the local currency is type 10, it is INR. Same ledger 0L, and if you have US10 company code, currency type 10 will be USD. And here you can see the fiscal year variant is F1. When it is F1 for fiscal year variant is F1 for IN10 company code in 0L ledger with respect to company code plus and the ledger combination. Now let's create the new ledger as part of this new entries, and we want to create standard ledger, that means non-leading ledger L1, and this is for Indian Tax Act ledger name, and it should not be a leading ledger, so don't select leading checkbox. And ledger type, you have two types, one is extension ledger, one is a standard ledger, right? So now we are going with the non-leading ledger, means it's a standard ledger. If it is a standard ledger, then this field is not applicable for you. If it is an extension ledger, then within the extension ledger again there are types that we need to choose here. But now in our case it is a standard ledger, and for standard ledger there is no underlying ledger is required, and valuation view we are not selecting specifically, it will be by default, it will go for as a legal valuation. Whether manual postings are allowed or not, that control we have. Suppose in a particular ledger L1, I don't want to allow manual postings, then in that case you can stop the manual postings. But we need it, because by default some postings will come like same 0L. As per Indian Taxation Act, some adjustment I need to do. In that case, don't select this checkbox. And then accounting principle of the ledger, here itself, if you want, you can assign, or you can assign for a ledger group combination, or maybe you can assign ledger group plus company code level. Okay, this we'll see later. Next, L2. As per IFRS reporting, this is also standard ledger. The next one will go for E1, and this is for management reporting. And this we want to create as a extension ledger. Then ledger type, select as a extension ledger. Now we discussed about what is the extension ledger, right? It doesn't receive the ledger non-ledger specific postings. Only if you post manual postings, ledger specific, that's only are allowed into the extension ledger, and for that there should be a base ledger. While taking report, it will take the postings which are there in the extension ledger as well as the postings from the base ledger also. Now, in extension ledger, going on further for each and every version from starting 1610 version, the SAP is doing improvements or R&D, and then these extension ledgers are divided into different types. Number one is a extension ledger itself. Number two is simulation ledger. That means extension simulation ledger, you can call it as, for understanding easily. Number three, extension predictive ledger. Number four, extension valuation ledger. Okay, so these are the different types are there within the extension ledger again. Now, whatever we told for management reporting, for some accounting principle to fulfill, I need to post some journal entries, manual adjustment. For that purpose, you can use the extension ledger. Within the extension ledger, again, this is the type extension ledger. For example, here I selected extension ledger. After that, system will ask you what will be the extension ledger type, because there are different type of extension ledgers. Right, one is we are saying it as a extension ledger. In that we can post just manual journal entries I need to post and fulfill the my legal reporting or whatever the requirement you want as per your accounting principle. Then in that case you can go for accounting just extension ledger type to post the manual journal entries. But I need to do some simulations, and then I want to see what will be the my result. That means it's not an actual posting, just I want to simulate. For example, you have some expenses and incomes or assets and liabilities. There is some P&L account and balance sheet is there. So after 1 month, your profit is 1000 rupees. And you did foreign currency valuation with exchange rate type M. And then you have a profit of 1000. But if I do my foreign currency valuation with exchange rate type P, then what will be the my profit? That I don't want to post really with exchange rate type P, but just I would like to know if I do with foreign currency valuation with exchange rate type P, what will be my exchange loss or exchange gain, and for that what will be the my impact on the profit. So that I want to check, and then in that case you need to go for extension simulation ledger. Means you post a journal entries and the profit not 1000, it went to 1500. Okay, then we found that because of valuation with P, then exchange rate type, then my profit has been changed to 500. Okay, once you come to know really I don't want to use that journal entries, then I will delete that one. So just for simulation purpose I used, means some journal entries we have to post and see the result, then after that I want to delete that, then in that case you can create a ledger with simulation option. And the next one is extension predictive ledger. So what does it mean? Predictive means in advance you need to predict it, and then based on that prediction we need to predict the profit. For example, in financial accounting, always what we are doing, we are recording the historical figures, right? Once the business transaction is done, once you made a sale or once you purchased, then only we can record the figures, right? Historical values we will record. Based on that, we will find out the actual profit. And we are doing the planning based on the historical figure, what will be the my actual revenue next year, sorry, what will be my the planned revenue and what will be my planned expenses. That planning you are doing, fine. But once you have completed your business in a particular fiscal year, January up to June, 6 months business you did it, already you are in the June, and maybe after June your actual profit is 1000, along with planned revenue, along with planned expenses. Can you predict after 6 months, after December, what will be your profit? This is not a planned, this is not an assumption, it is a prediction. So the difference between plan and prediction is, for prediction there should be some evidence. There are some sales orders already we received orders. It will take maybe 3 4 months to manufacture the goods and to sell to the customer. That means to deliver and to do the billing and to recognize the revenue. So based on that evidence, the sales order which we have on hand, then we can predict what will be our the actual revenue or what will be our predictive revenue. And based on that, I can decide what will be the profit I am going to earn in December, more or less. I can predict. So those prediction documents, once you have a sales order, even though the delivery is not done today on June, but we will post a delivery document, because anyhow I am doing delivery on September or October. Anyhow, I am doing billing on September or October. So that delivery documents, billing documents will be posted today itself. But did you really deliver? No. then from audit point of view, it is a wrong. Even though you are not delivering the goods, but you are saying that you are posting a document that I delivered. Even though you have not delivered the product, you are posting a billing that I am not posting in ledger 0L. I am not posting in L1. I am not posting in L2. I am posting in extension ledger. A separate ledger is created. So in that ledger, I can predict what will be my profit. For that purpose, SAP has given this predict ledger. This we can see later. Just here, you can see what are the different type of extension ledgers are there. There are four types. One is the extension ledger. One is the extension simulation ledger. One is the extension predictive ledger. And one is the extension valuation ledger. At present, we will create one extension ledger which can be posted to the manual journal entries, and whatever discussed this concept we can see practically in the system. And later, we can go with other extension ledger types. Okay. So these are in each and every version, it has a different names, specific names are there. Okay. So that we can see. For example, in 1809, whenever you type to create extension ledgers, in the next field we have seen the extension ledger type we need to select. So four types. One is a extension ledger is there clearly, and one is a simulation, and third one is prediction and commitment, and fourth one is valuation. When coming to 1909 version, then SAP has changed this extension ledger type description on the system whenever you go. The functionality will be same. Only the description has been changed based on the usage, how you are using. So when I see the extension ledger simulation prediction, I don't understand what will be the difference. That's why the SAP put exactly what is the difference, simulation and extension. Extension means you can post only the journal entries, manual postings, that's all. And whatever you want, you take the financial statement after that. And simulation purpose. Here what we are doing, we are preparing the journal entries, whatever the purpose you want. Then after that, I need to delete it because it's only for simulation purpose. With a different rate, if I do foreign currency valuation or something else, if I do, then what will be my impact that I want to see? Okay, I did it, I saw it. Then immediately after that, you can delete it. And the next one, the journal entries you can post it. For example, which I explained, prediction and commitment purpose. Even though delivery is not done, even though billing is not done, but I posted it. And then I want to see what will be my profit. I want to predict it. Then there, the deletion is not possible. So this and simulation and prediction, what is the difference? Here deletion is possible because this is like kind of simulation. It's like kind of test run. It's advanced test run. In at present, a test run means it doesn't post anything, right? If you remove test run only, it will post. But here simulation means it will post the document, and then it will update the database, and then existing documents plus these new documents, with that combinedly you can see the impact on the profit or revenue or expense, and then delete it. And here deletion is not possible, and this is for different valuation differences. Now in 2020 we have only three options. The journal entries for valuation differences is not available. Now you go and see the extension ledger. This is the extension ledger types, right? So here we have only three in 2020. This valuation differences has been removed. One is the standard journal entries, and next one is line item with technical number deletion is possible. That means this is a simulation ledger. And third one is line items with technical number no deletion is possible. This is for prediction and commitment. Okay, so out of that, I want to go only with the journal entries as of now. So select standard journal entries. And once it is a extension ledger, I told you the underlying ledger or base ledger is a must. So if I try without entering or that saving, so system is saying No underlying ledger is assigned to ledger E1. So we need to give the underlying ledger. Now you decide for you which you want to take as a base, which is the management reporting is near, either you want to use Companies Act figures or Indian Tax Act figures or IFRS 1. If you feel that Companies Act, then you can put the base ledger as a 0L or L1 if you want, or L2, whatever you want. I need a one valuation view with different adjustment with nearly with these figures. On top of that, I need to do some adjustment. Then you can create one more extension ledger and you can create one more valuation view. Okay, so as of now, I'm taking base ledger as a 0L. Fine. Everywhere manual postings are allowed and save it. The same, this we know. Whenever we create a ledger, immediately system will create the ledger group also. This we have seen in ECC also. Once we create a ledger, what system will do? System will create a ledger group also with the same name. Our ledgers are this one. Then automatically system will create ledger group also with the same name. Of course, 0L is already created. Ledger group also created by standard SAP. These three we are creating. Apart from this ledger group, if you want, you can create your own ledger group. This I can say manual ledger group. So the ledger groups in SAP, you can divide into two types. One is a ledger group created by SAP. One is a ledger group we created manually. Suppose I want to create ledger group, maybe G1. Under ledger group G1, I can put whatever ledgers I want. For example, I will make L1 and L2 as part of one group. So this is the manual ledger group if you want to create yourself. So now ledger group E1 is created, ledger group L1 is created, and ledger group L2 also is created. And if you feel most of the manual postings, I need to post similar in L1, L2. After that in L2, I can post one or two, then it will be fine, my requirement. Then in that case, you can create as a one group. That means for which ledgers, the accounting principles or general ledger rules or postings are most of the similar, then with that ledgers, you can create a one group. And then while posting documents, if I enter ledger group G1, system will update the document in L1 as well as L2. If I don't have this G1, the document I need to post in L1 one time, again the same document again I need to post L2. To avoid that, I am creating a one group. This we can say manual ledger group. In manual ledger group, you can add whatever ledger you want, right? Multiple ledgers. But in the ledger group which is created by SAP L1, in this L1 ledger group, who is the partner? Only L1. In L2 ledger group, who is the members? Only L2. You cannot go and add one more ledger into L2 group. The next, select ledger L1, double click on company code settings. Click on new entries. And by default, system will not add any company code, the ledger which you created. You need to go and add manually your company code. So put IN10. The fiscal year variant, what you want. If you want, you can maintain different one. In our case, for L1, I want to use same April to March, fine. Posting period variant also same I want to use. But if you want, you can maintain different one. The parallel accounting we are not using because we are using ledger approach. And the first currency out of 10 currencies in universal journal table, this is the second currency are fixed. And then out of 8 currencies, okay, I think because of this issue, maybe we can stop tomorrow. We can see these settings. If you have any doubt, maybe after this you can ask.
Hi, sir. Navneet here. What we mean by this representative and non-representative ledger in the ledger group? So whether we will be covering that later or it's already there in this one. Some name has changed in 2020, like the extension ledger for these two.
The representative ledger and non-representative ledger is same, which you have in ECC. For example, if you take the
Okay.
ledger group, in G1 you have L1 and L2. Assume for L1 it is a April to March, but for L2 it is a January to December, right? Two different fiscal year variant. Here first period means it is a April for one ledger, but for another ledger it is a January. What you did, you opened the posting period for L1 and different posting period variants both are using. One is IN10 and one is IN11. For one ledger you open posting period and one ledger you didn't open posting period, and now you are posting a document. The what system need to do? The system need to post silently into a ledger where posting period is open, and system should not update where posting period is not open. Or do you want one posting period is not open, that's why I am posting at group level, let's both stop it. So to avoid this problem, SAP is using a concept of representative ledger, and one is a non-representative ledger. In a particular ledger group, there must be only one representative ledger. Here, how many ledgers we have? L1, L2. So you decide out of L1 and L2 who will be the representative ledger. Or I have three ledgers L1, L2, L3. If you have three or four, at the end there must be one representative ledger that you can choose yourself whenever you are creating a ledger group. Who will be the representative? So here representative means, as the name suggesting, representing. Posting period is opened or not, system will go and check for only one ledger. It doesn't check all the ledgers in that group. For that ledger group, sorry, for that ledger, if a posting period is open, system will post the document in all ledgers, even though the posting period is not opened for other ledgers. Because system doesn't check other ledgers whether it is opened or not. Even though it is not open, forcefully system will go and post the document. But manually, if a posting period is not open, is it possible for us to post? No. But system SAP can post it if that ledger is part of a ledger group. So that means the representative ledger only system will check posting period. For which ledger you want to check the posting period, that ledger you need to select as a representative ledger. In my group, L1 is I selected as a representative. Then automatically L2 will call it as a non-representative. I have L1, L2, L3. L1 I selected as a representative. Then L2 and L3 will become non-representative ledgers. Now system will check only for L1. If L1 posting period is open, it will update L1, L2, L3. If L1 posting period is not open, even though L2, L3 is open, system will stop the document in all ledgers. And you joined into this group 0L ledger also. Then in that case, I have L1, L2, 0L. Then I will select my representative ledger as a L1. It's not possible. In any group, if 0L is a member, you need to select 0L as a representative ledger because that is the leading ledger. So leading ledger, if it is in a group, it won't allow to be represented by other ledger. It has to represent first. That should be the representative ledger. And here one more doubt you can get. Here it is a ledger group is L2. In this, who are the member? L2 only. Then who will be the representative? L2 only. There is no non-representative.
Okay, sir.
Maybe
Thank you.
this we
And
can do at the time of asset accounting. There is a necessity will come.
okay,
We will create there one
okay,
group. We will add two ledgers. At that time, we will go and select manually who will be the representative.
okay, okay, sir. Thank you. And also in this up, I can see extension, simulation, and predictive. So from what you have said is like earlier there were four categories. Now it has been reduced to three.
Correct.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So this valuation ledger, maybe they have included this functionality into like something else.
Yes, I think that change still I also didn't go through. I will go through and will explain you about that because this is a new thing in
Oh,
2020 recently came up.
okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, then fine. Thank you. Can close it.